Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Culturenoise titled Show Me. And if we switch over to here, we've got this track on YouTube and we're going to listen through it from start till finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, let's do it.
Show me your beautiful eyes. Show me your beautiful eyes.
No, it's well balanced.
Show me your beautiful eyes. Show me your beautiful eyes.
Beautiful eyes? Great. Great use of dynamic range there. The development of that guitar lead there, nice work.
Show me your beautiful eyes.
Subtle drum build there.
Show me your beautiful eyes. Show me your beautiful eyes.
Having a really fun time. I do enjoy the guitar leads though, there's great ambience to them. That was an interesting into the video there, with the person falling over with like with the pills popping out of their hands there. That was a turn I didn't expect it to take, but I think that overall it's a really well handled track. We're gonna talk about it though more in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Culturenoise titled Show Me. Now what do I think this track is about? I think it's on face value about wanting to see someone's beautiful eyes. I think it is kind of like meant to represent the intoxication of that sort of attraction there, really sort of feeling each other, show me the world along with those eyes, maybe show them the, you know, like how there's like the allegory or whatever of seeing the world through someone's eyes, maybe it's that too, I'm not sure. But either way, I think the simplicity of the lyrics in this allow you to appreciate the music more. The vocals are palatable. I like the melodies and how they coalesce with the rest of the elements within the track, but there's nothing too overcomplicated. I think that is an inherently smart move. We're simply trying to create a hook line, give a bit of context, and we basically got everything we need there. So I think that the vocals and the story was well handled. It's when you bring it into the rest of the track where it gets really interesting. Now, at this song is 3 minutes 15, and I think that it does well for the amount of it. We didn't get a lot of context within the actual track itself, aside from few sparse lyrics we had, and I don't think we needed to overcomplicate the track. But it leaves you without a development of a story needing to rely on the way the music sounds in order to keep you engaged. And by virtue of needing the music to be that interesting, I think we've managed to handle things quite well within the composition. It's a situation where we had the fundamentals such as, you know, like bass and drums and a bit of guitar stuff going on, especially those leads in the mid and late sections there. A lot of synth leads and pads, and there were some risers, and there were of course variations with the way the different instruments were interpreted, with variations with the drum tones and stuff like that, which were kind of cool, and different synths and niched in different parts of the frequency spectrum, as well as some risers and some more sort of whooshy sort of effects based ones that go around the stereo field. There's just a lot to appreciate. I think part of what I enjoy about this track is you've got those natural builds and then the drops, and it comes down into like a lead guitar section there. We were, from what I can tell, a little bit hesitant to stay with that guitar by itself for that long. I feel like we didn't necessarily trust we'd retain attention if we didn't have the bass and drums come in at that halfway point without more than a bar or two of the guitar, which I think is totally fine. It worked because it was done like that. But if you'd add one bar more, one bar later of the drums coming in, it would have just sounded maybe a bit odd or something like that. So I appreciate the fact that we were trying to actually add an alternative lead instrument. I know there was some interesting sort of lead patterns that we had on the synths and stuff, and clearly they're also valid as lead elements. But having the guitar with a kind of a bit more sort of a low-key, chill, wistful nature, a really pretty melody to it. A little bit sad, but not too much. It was kind of middling in its sadness. It wasn't like depressing or anything like that. It's just because of the minor key that you have throughout this. But the textures within the track make it seem far more gentle. And it's a song where ultimately, when you consider the fundamentals of what the instruments are basically accomplishing within it, like the drums with the chord note groove, typically sticking with the main sort of snares or claps, and the kicks and the cymbal patterns, was some interesting sort of like lighter kind of tippy-tappy production on the sides there. With it's almost like a different drum kit that they had kind of going around the stereo field. The music did surround you in the headphones for sure, both in terms of its arrangement and its production. They're great sort of studio production here. But like the song itself, it had a fundamental sort of chord note accent on the drums there with occasional, there were occasional drum fills, and there were rises with the 16th note patterns on the snares and stuff like that. And we had ghost note patterns as well to keep things interesting. The bass lines were fundamentally following the chord progressions within the track. There wasn't too much craziness going on there, even though I should note that we had different types of bass synths, and they form slightly different sort of roles within the mix. Some a bit more sort of foundational, others a bit more sort of sizzle to them to add a bit of edge, but not too much. It was, again, the guitars being the lead element, solo in those like mid and late sections. The synth pads that we had there being more of a sort of a mid-range kind of glow, approaching some of the triads and notes within the arpeggios that we were doing within the lead lines for the synths, with occasional alt synth leads, as I mentioned, kind of forming a similar functionality after the vocals in the second half of each of the drops there. I'd switch over. We had multiple leads, including the guitars and vocals, which was very effective. And we just, we had oscillations of these synths. They weren't just playing a stat note. They were programmed or sort of like produced so that they would go up and down in regards to the like perceived frequency response. And there's just a lot of love put into this track. Clearly, the people who were producing this knew what they were doing. We not only adhered to the fundamentals of music, theory and composition, but we also knew how to have not too much or not too little and maintain a sense of equilibrium across the experience there. And it was quite an intense 3 minutes, despite the fact I don't know if we could have really gone longer with it. There was a similar bass line and harmony overall throughout the track, so I feel like even with all the variety within the actual instrumentation and production, it would have been a little bit too much if we'd gone on for longer than this. So it was great that at the end there we kind of sort of started to bring things down a little bit there, and we came out and we did. It was really clever. And so then we come to the actual theme itself. How did the Everything Connected sound? It sounded almost mesmerizing and mystical sounding with a lot of the reverb and synthy textures you had there. Everything was kind of awash and stuff, and you had things surround you in the headphones and go from the center to the sides and such. And it was almost like the music was washing over you, and you were kind of in the ocean with it. And I think including the visuals from the video, that's a really interesting angle to take there. It was a softer minor piece there, which had kind of a sad leaning, but it wasn't in a way where it was being like sad. It was more just the minor key, I suppose, sounded cooler. It would have been a little bit too kind of upbeat, I suppose, with the textures and times we had if we'd made it into a major key. And so we had a sense of groove and sort of sophistication with it, with the way everything was structured and layered, which then came down to a situation at the end there where, you know, it was palatable and easy to access. It wasn't too intense, and you could basically listen. It's more of a track you just sort of low-key vibe to. You can dance to it at the club. It's not going to get you too hyped up, but it's enough there to kind of be a great sort of track in with its own or between others, and it's a great feel piece. And I think ultimately they handled it. You know, the theme's easy to get behind. It's not too direct or pointed. It's just enough to be able to appreciate it, understand the connection between the various elements, and sort of move forward from there. The studio recording, mixing, and mastering was well handled. The vocals, various synth patterns, the guitar lines relatively subtle in the mix, but still a presence. The bass, drums, everything else. They all niche nicely within the frequency spectrum and the stereo field. The music surrounded you in the headphones, and there were movements of automation and panning between stuff as well, which made it more sort of intricate. I like the fact that we have reverb and delay tails and stuff to make it a bit more kind of airy and kind of mystical sounding. And I like the fact that there was dynamic range to it, whilst also the fact that it was nice and loud without pumping, so the bus compression and limiting was handled. I mean, effectively, this is my review of this track from Culturenoise, titled Show Me, the original version, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.